Shalom, Ka'ala Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakal Kodash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, who are the house of David, reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today were known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage were known as and still are the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the closing of these free speech venues. But let's read this first. This is Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value. So this is Job referencing the wicked nation, which he was basically describing, right? And in this case, these three articles I'm going to bring out, it shows some pretty heavy hitters, which used to stand for truth and freedom of speech, right? Basically, freedom in general, okay? Right here, this article says, ACLU says the state forcing people to take jabs is a victory for civil liberties. So you see that, man? Let me repeat that again. ACLU says the state forcing people to take jabs is a victory for civil liberties. So you see, these devils have gone full circle, right? They have jumped the shark, right? This organization, the ACLU, which used to be a champion for people's rights, has now folded, and they are now pushing the narrative of Esau's system. And why is that? Well, because when you go to the very top, the ACLU is an organization owned by these Edomites. They're of course are going to use it to fulfill their agenda. Okay, now let's go ahead and just read a little bit of what they said. Right, let's read this article. It says the ACLU has published an article on the New York Times, followed up by a tweet which asserts that the government forcing people to take jabs is a victory for civil liberties. It's unbelievable, man. These guys are the devils, right? And let's just continue. It says, no, this isn't out of the Babylon Bee. Far from compromising them, jabs mandates actually further civil liberties. The organization's tweet ludicrously claimed they protect the most vulnerable people with disabilities and fragile immune systems, children too young to be jabbed, and communities of color hit hard by the disease. So here's the actual tweet that these devils posted out. It says, far from compromising them, or actually basically the same thing I just wrote, right? So this shows you, man, that these devils, they're going to use every organization, every angle to push these jabs on you, right? Because they're no longer playing fair, right? And they've basically infiltrated, if not already ran, every organization that is a 501c3, right? Including these other Hebrew Israelite groups, right? This is why everybody who is part of the system will start speaking in favor of the system, right? This is why you cannot be part of the beast and fight against the beast. This is why we're telling you Israelites out there who are following these other Hebrew Israelite camps like IUIC, the ISUPK, and all these other groups that are 501c3 organized. You need to get away from those groups, man, because they're basically just government traps. All right, let's continue. It says the tweet linked to a New York Times opinion piece written by the ACLU staffers, which further amplified claims that the government forcing people to take jabs under threat of them losing their jobs, social lives, and potentially in the future the right to buy and sell was actually a boon for civil liberties. What's next? Maybe the ACLU will call for the government to forcibly incarcerate Americans for their controversial political opinions because it might prevent harm? Respondents on Twitter were swift to ridicule the organization's absurd hypocrisy. And let's see, this guy wrote here, Robbie Starbuck, he said, the government forcing a needle in your arm is actually them furthering your civil liberties? Is quite the take, even from Marxists like you. Thank you for dropping the masks to reveal yourselves to them. Right? And then this guy wrote, he's a look at the stretch, right? And Kevin Colin says, it is so sad to see how much leftism has destroyed your organization. Any real civil liberties union needs to be actively against the left, and you are example number one as to why. Right? And then Glenn Greenwald, he's a famous guy when it comes to talking about the truth. Having the state force citizens to inject their bodies with a medicine they don't want is a victory for civil liberties, actually, says the ACLU. Right? So these guys are all calling out the ACLU, man, because it's preposterous what they've actually said, right? And it's very evident that these guys are basically bought out. Let's just go to the tweet post that they made, and let's read what people are actually posting on their comments, right? Let's see. It says, the ACLU has really mastered doublespeak. It is so sad to see how much leftism... Okay, we actually read that one. This is laughable. The human brain can be programmed to believe anything. Don't believe me. Right? American Communist Limitations Union, right? Making a play on their acronyms. You compromised yourself. There are communities of colors who don't trust the medical establishment, but you're going to insist they be mandated as well? Civil Liberties Org, my foot. What? 1984 is here. Right? And this is talking about doublespeak, right? Because if you watch this movie 1984, they talk about how there's something known as doublespeak, where basically the government straight out blatantly lies, right, to the face, and people will literally just believe it because it's more convenient to believe a lie or a comforting lie than an inconvenient truth. Right? It says forced medical procedures are civil liberties, guys. It says the communities of color are hit hard because they refuse to vaccinate. That's bullshit. Right? And it says never donating again. You're supposed to support individual liberties. And it says I'm fully jabbed, by the way. I chose to do it. And it just goes on. You can see pretty much all the comments here, right, are pretty much anti-ACLU stance on this, man. Right? But ultimately, man, this is just the new normal, man. We're basically these devils are going to lie to you straight up to your face, man, and they're gonna do it because they just simply need to put on a standardized front, regardless of how much of a hypocrites they appear, because they need to push this agenda. This is Amos 8:11. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh Bashim Ashai, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh Bashim Ashai. Right? And besides the ACLU pushing this lie, this blatant lie, you have two organizations, right? Twitter and Reddit. Right? Let's first read about Twitter. Basically cracking down on freedom of speech, right? Twitter says, Twitter rolls out new anti-harassment safety mode to reduce disruptive interactions, right? What does it say here? It says, when the author of such a post is auto-blocked, they will temporarily be unable to follow the account or send its tweets or direct messages, right? So you see this? This is what's starting to happen, man, because these devils are trying to stop people from posting things like this, okay? When people post things that are against the narrative that is being pushed by these big organizations, Twitter wants to be able to stop that from going out, man. And see, this ultimately will lead to a blocking of truth online, right? Stopping of what these devils believe is going to be the stopping of dissension. But ultimately, dissension and sedition is going to happen, but it's just going to happen in other venues, right? Recently, I think it was like yesterday, the day before, you had the big social media aggregate site known as Reddit basically ban a group known as No New Normal, which is basically anti-jabs, right? They're anti-C19. And when you go there, basically it was like Instagram or TikTok, man. They were basically revealing a lot of the truths that are coming out, right? And not only that, man, but this group was basically hated on big time, right? You had moderators and other people in other groups basically throwing hissy fits that this group existed and basically conspiring on how to get this group banned. Right? Well, what does it say here? It says Reddit bans jab skeptic subreddit. No New Normal. Days after CEO said he wouldn't. It says last week, Reddit CEO Steve Hoffman, an Edomite, by the way, right? That's the biblical name for these Caucasians, right? Those are the people that are prophesied in the Bible to be ruling the world in the end time, that will have the world upside down morally. Have the whole world in subjections through their might and military power, and ultimately are the basically offspring of Satan, man. They are the seed of Satan on earth. Continuing, said that the site will not ban C19 misinformation because it values dissent. See, and that's what this devil said until he got a call from his masters at the very top that basically told him, no, no, no. And this is what happened. He basically says Hoffman, who once moderated a subreddit on cannibalism, right? So check that out, said that while the site will encourage users to seek authoritative information on C19 from the CDC, it would not stop people from posting content that runs counter to government guidelines. Continuing, dissent is a part of Reddit and the foundations of democracy. Reddit is a place for open and authentic discussions and debate, Hoffman wrote in a lengthy post. It says Hoffman's note came in response to dozens of subreddits having gone private protest the jab and mask skeptic No New Normal subreddit, vowing to stay locked until it was banned from the platform, right? And just to let you know, man, a lot of these moderators who control these other subreddits, they're a bunch of fucking devils, man. A lot of them are these weirdo ass, trans Edomite devils, man, or just fucking weirdos, man, who are basically the most vile people of this Babylonian society, man. Like you got little fucking or little fat old men, moderating fucking pro pedophilia subreddits on here, man. These are the devils, the losers, the fucking gimps who are ultimately running these subreddits, man, right? And this is a place where they could get their opinions basically catered to, right? You see, I think it was just, for example, there was a guy, this like incel fucking Edomite weirdo who basically he basically was a trans guy, right? He tried to turn into himself or claiming himself to be a woman who was married to another fucking Edomite weirdo, and basically I think he got his dad hired in the political party that he worked for, and his dad was a pedophile and shit. Like, these are the type of people in these groups, man. See, these are the filth that runs Babylon, man. These are the vile, base Edomites of the world, and they actually run the societies, man. You see people like this guy Hoffman here, right? Though he may have all this money and he runs all these big organizations, he's just one of these devils who does shit like moderate fucking cannibalism subreddits, man. See, these devils are vile when you look into what they actually do, right? And you see in Reddit itself, besides it being a good place to get, truthful information, it also is the pit of vileness that these Edomites basically push. This is why when you go to Reddit, you gotta just basically be fucking strong-stomached and basically just wade, through all the BS that these devils put up, man. From the cat-loving, anime-pushing, pedophilia, sympathetic fucking views that these devils have, man. But the point being is that you see here when it says that these subreddits did a protest by going private, like what you can see here. This is what happens, man, right? Like this is a group called Futurology, which is a fairly cool subreddit that shows you all the new technology coming out, right? It tells you here, it says Futurology has gone private to protest Reddit's inaction on C19 misinformation. Weaponized misinformation is a key problem shaping our future. See, so these are the devils pushing, Esau's agenda, man, and not even knowing it. Because again, right now you have a lot of youthful idiots in this world who, think they're doing good, but they're actually just helping to further this destructive agenda that's upon us. Let's continue. It says, on Wednesday, Reddit did just that, banning normal admins. Worst Nerd posted an even lengthier screen or scrid defending their about face, and in it he accused normal users without evidence of brigading other forums, invading them to cause trouble. The point being is that they blocked, they're blocking these avenues for the truth to be posted, man, right? And then you have, and these other subreddits, the ones that are protesting, man, they're all bought out, man. They're all fucking, getting paid, or either they're just, socially destroyed, man. And they push, they're basically just government mockingbirds for the most part, man. But one thing I wanted to read on here is this right here. It says Reddit also quarantined 54 other subreddits associated with jab and mask hesitancy. So you see all the venues, right, actually, let me read this first. It says, the revolution will not be televised or tweeted or posted on Reddit, Facebook, YouTube, or virtually any other big tech platform. And the left, former champions of free speech and resisting authority, has become the very useful idiots that they once mocked. And that's true. Kind of like what I just mentioned a little while ago, man, that these vile beasts that now kind of run this, Reddit site, for example, and ACLU and all these other organizations, YouTube, Facebook, right? Ultimately, when you get to the top of these organizations, a lot of them are Amalek, right? They're the top tribe of Edom, right? And that, or they're just vile fucking, alphabet group associated, gimps and shit of some sort, right? So they basically are being influenced by demons, man. So this is why this famine of the word is going to ultimately come, man, because you got devils controlling the forms of free speech. And this is what's going to cause the famine of the word to come, because you see, we're getting close to that time, people. You can see from the actions of what's happening in the world that something just isn't right, right? You have these biblical natural disasters going on, the forest fires up in Northern California, the tornadoes that last all the way from Louisiana all the way up to New York, right? You have the economy about to implode. You have these devils pushing their pandemic. You have all these things going on, man, right? All these biblical things going on, right? And these people don't even have a clue about what's happening, right? They're just all going on and fighting about fucking some sort of, agenda that they're trying to push, not realizing that their world is soon to come to an end. Let's read this. 2nd Ezra 5:1. Nevertheless, as coming the tokens, behold, the day shall come, that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. Get ready, Akim, right? Your videos that you like to watch, whatever, start downloading them, and make sure you got yourself a good Bible, if not two, because pretty soon these videos, these lessons that we put up, they're going to start becoming harder to find. You're going to start seeing that these posts that we get and share on Instagram and on TikTok, they're going to start going away, right? Just look at what's happening over in Australia. They're actually implementing 100-point identity system, which means if you want to go online, you have to basically now have an internet driver's license, which is going to be monitored, and you could be basically penalized for sharing, information that goes against the government narrative, right? Just like over in China, like we've been saying all this time, right? They're going to crack down on the internet, and pretty soon they're going to, we said that they're going to take down the internet, but it kind of seems now that they're just simply going to restrict it to a level where it's going to be basically useless, just like how it is in China, right? And that's how the way of truth shall be hidden, right? This truth that we're preaching is no longer going to be here. But again, that's just prophecy, right? Because the Lord said that once this truth, it reaches all the four corners of the earth, that's when the end is going to come. And that's when they're going to implement the mark of the beast. They're going to implement these, all of these draconian measures. You're going to see World War III about to start, and then ultimately the second coming of the Messiah, right? So we are there, Akim. We are close to the end. This is Colossians 2:8. Beware, lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after the Messiah, right? Because we're going to come into a time of very heavy propaganda, right? They're going to get rid of this truth in a heavy way, Akim, right? They're going to probably delete a lot of our channels. There's going to be ways where you're just not going to find a lot of the truth anywhere, right? And pretty much the things that you will find are probably going to be these false camps that have sold out, right? And have been put in their place to be that deceptive voice, okay? But the point being is that the Lord here has warned you, man, to beware that least any man spoil you, right? Through their vain deceit, right? And through the rudiments of this world, right? Don't be deceived by the propaganda and the way that the whole multitude of the world will be going, man. Because pretty soon we're going to be made the outliers, we're going to be made the villains, because we're standing by our guns, man. We're standing by the truth of the Bible and doing what the Lord has told us. So I just wanted to touch upon that, Akim. Hopefully this video was edifying. Until the next time, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Asher Kol Kodash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders, the great millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.